Imagine this: a street in an English town. An American woman wearing a hijab reaches a car and points a gun. But instead of firing, there is just a click. The gun malfunctions. This is no low-budget spy movie. This is the strange, true tale of Amy Betrow, an American graphic designer turned hit woman. Her target didn't just miss, she completely messed up, revealing a tale of revenge, error, and an international manhunt. How did a regular Wisconsin woman find herself miles from home, attempting to carry out an assassination that went drastically wrong? And why did a British father and son commission her in the first place? Join us as we dig out the staggering tale of the hit woman who blew it all up. Our story starts not with Amy Betrow, but with an escalating feud in Derby, England. The main players in the case are Mohammed Aslam, who was 56 when convicted, and his son Mohammed Nazir, 30. The son and father ran a business, but they had a violent confrontation with another family, which created a serious, long-standing grudge that caused a lot of trouble. There was a bloody brawl on July 21, 2018, at a clothing store owned by Aslat Mahmoud in Birmingham. The facts of the initial brawl have not been made public, but the outcome was clear. Aslam and Nazir were injured, the shop windows were broken, and the interior was reported to have been destroyed. It was no small brawl. It wounded their pride and could hurt their business. Rather than leaving it alone or suing them, Aslam and Nazir decided to take a much more radical path of revenge: murder. They needed someone to do the job, someone who could be denied, someone who could come and go, preferably someone from a distance. They needed a hitman, or rather, in this case, a hitwoman. This is where Amy Betrow enters, and her past makes the story even stranger. Born in 1980 from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, she was no serious criminal or killer involved in shady activities. Public records and reports indicate she had a pretty ordinary life. She attended early childhood education at Mid-State Technical College in Wisconsin and graduated in 2005. She was an administrator for the Milwaukee Brewers baseball team. She was also reportedly a freelance graphic designer. Her last posts on social media indicated that she was having fun exploring the UK, attending festivals, and sightseeing, not someone preparing for such a horrible murder. How did this lady, who did not appear to have a history of violent crimes, come across Aslam and Nazir and agree to help them with her services for their revenge plan? The precise manner in which she was recruited remains unclear, but the prosecution outlined how Aslam and Nazir tracked her down and brought her over from the United States for this fatal assignment. Why her? Did she know them? Was she selected online? Was she financially struggling? These are questions left unanswered, which contribute to the intrigue of her participation. What is certain is that by late August 2019, Amy Betrow was preparing to travel to the UK, not merely for a holiday, but allegedly for a contract killing. Betrow also traveled from Chicago to the UK, arriving in August 2019. Detectives subsequently analysed her social media activity at this point and showed all her travels. She wrote about travelling to London, attending the Transmission Festival at Crystal Palace, taking a boat trip along the River Thames, and even spoke about visiting her partner in crime in Manchester, a scary term now. She checked into hotels across the country, including Birmingham, Brighton, Derby, and Manchester. While she was telling everyone about her trips, the plan was still being put together behind the scenes. On the 6th of September 2019, the day before the planned attack, Mohammed Nazir and Mohammed Aslam traveled from their home in Derby to Birmingham. Nazir met Betrow at a city centre hotel. Prosecutors allege that they spent over 2 hours in her room together, and in that time, even ordered food from Deliveroo. It was likely the last briefing, in which last-minute arrangements were made before attempting to murder Sikander Ali the following day. The original target was Aslat Mahmoud, but at the last minute, they changed plans and went after his son, Sikander Ali. maybe because it was easier to follow his daily routine. Betro had already begun preparing for the plan. She purchased a Mercedes car using the fake name Becky Booth. Also, she contacted Sikander Ali with a made-up story that she wanted to buy a Volkswagen Golf his family was selling. This provided her with a good reason to meet near his home, drawing him into the area. The setting was arranged for September 7th, 2019, in Acox Green, a suburb of Birmingham. Betro drove her Mercedes to the destination, waiting for her victim. To hide her identity, she wore a hijab. Sikander Ali had driven up in his car alongside where Betro had been standing. Upon arriving, Betro got out of the Mercedes and left the driver's door open, ready to leave quickly. The prosecutor, Kevin Hegarty, explained that she walked calmly towards Sikander Ali and pointed a gun at him at head height. This was where the plan went wrong. Ali had seen her and the gun. Betro had pulled the trigger, but nothing happened. The gun, aimed directly at Ali, jammed. In that split second of failure, Sikander Ali was saved. He quickly reversed his car and hit the front bumper of Betro's Mercedes and quickly drove away. Betro remained there with her jammed gun. She abandoned the nearby Mercedes, likely hoping it would not be traced back to her or her superiors. Leaving the car behind was a big mistake that gave investigators an important clue. You would have expected that after such a monumental failure, the plan would have been abandoned. But Betro, instead of following orders from Aslam and Nazir, had her own plans. The next day, September 8th, she hired a taxi and was back in the neighborhood. This time she seemed to be aiming at Sikander Ali's father, Aslat Mahumad. She went to his house and fired 3 shots at it. Luckily, no one was hurt in this second attack. But Betro didn't leave it at that. She reportedly followed up the shooting with a series of threatening text messages sent straight to Aslat Mahmud reading, "Stop playing hide and seek, and where are you hiding?" She then sent a more direct threat. "You want to rip me off? You want to be a drug kingpin? Go look at your house, I will show you. Watch your back, I will be shedding blood soon." With 2 failed attempts and a trail of evidence, including an abandoned car and threatening text messages, Betro's time in the UK was up. Just 2 days after the second attack, on September 10th, she boarded a flight back to Chicago. She had arrived as an alleged assassin for hire and left as a wanted person on the run, leaving chaos and a major police investigation. West Midlands police quickly started working on the case. The abandoned Mercedes was a key starting point. Forensics and vehicle tracking likely helped piece together Betro's movements. The threatening text messages sent to Aslat Mahmud provided direct evidence of the plot's intent. Investigators would have worked to identify the owner and driver of the Mercedes, which would have led them to Amy Betro, the American visitor. Most importantly, the police needed to prove that Betro was connected to the people who hired her. This link likely originated from reviewing communications, travel records, and the known reason for the attack. Mohammed Nazir made a big mistake that helped prove this connection. A few days after Betro flew back to the US, Nazir himself flew out to America. On his travel documents, he listed Amy Betro as his point of contact in the US. This was a significant piece of evidence connecting him directly to the suspected hitwoman shortly after the crime. Mohammed Nazir was arrested upon his return to the UK the following month, in October 2019. His father, Mohammed Aslam, was also arrested. The legal process started moving, although the suspected shooter, Amy Betro, stayed out of reach in the United States. The case eventually reached Birmingham Crown Court. The trial revealed the details of the plot. Prosecutors presented the evidence carefully: the history of the feud, the recruitment of Betro, her recorded travel and hotel stays, the eyewitness account of Sikander Ali, the jammed gun, the abandoned Mercedes, the shots fired the next day, the threatening text messages, and Nazir's trip to the US listing Betro as his contact. The defense team tried to separate Aslam and Nazir from Betro's actions, but the series of proof was strong. In June 2024, the jury delivered its verdict. Mohammed Aslam and Mohammed Nazir were both found guilty of conspiracy to murder. Nazir faced additional charges. He was also found guilty of having a gun, interfering with justice, and bringing guns into the country illegally. This last charge related to a separate, complicated plan where Nazir allegedly tried to bring guns into the country and blame someone else for it. Aslam, the father, was cleared of the firearms charge, but convicted on the main conspiracy charge. Mohammed Nazir was sentenced to 32 years for conspiracy to murder, while Mohammed Aslam received a 10-year sentence. While Aslam and Nazir faced justice in the UK, Amy Betro remained a free woman, albeit one wanted internationally. For nearly 5 years after the Botched hit, Betro seemingly evaded capture. Reports surfaced that she was communicating with friends back in her hometown, suggesting she wasn't living entirely off the grid. Then, in a dramatic turn of events in early July 2024, news broke that Amy Betro had finally been caught. However, she wasn't found in Wisconsin or anywhere else in the United States, but she was tracked down in Armenia. According to the police of the Republic of Armenia, Betro, now 44, was located and taken into custody on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. She was found in a rented apartment within a housing complex on the outskirts of the capital city, Yerevan. Armenian authorities stated she was wanted by UK law enforcement for conspiracy to commit murder and illegal possession of a firearm. British authorities organised her deportation, and she is now in Newhall Prison in Wakefield. In February 2025, Betro denied charges of conspiracy to murder, possessing a firearm, and importing ammunition between September 12th and October 23rd, 2019. Her trial is set for July 21st, 2025, at Birmingham Crown Court. In a bizarre twist, Sikander Ali, the alleged victim, was convicted in a separate case of trafficking £500,000 worth of cocaine and borrowing a gun to deal drugs, and was given 9 years and 6 months behind bars after police investigated the drug kingpin threat from Betro. This tale, begun with a call in 2018, illustrates the pointlessness of revenge. A botched attack killed no one, but devastated lives on 2 continents. Aslam, Nazir, and Sikander are behind bars, and Betro awaits a verdict. Share your thoughts on this amazing crime in the comments below, and subscribe for more exciting true crime stories. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.